Hey folks, Daryl Shergan, Quest for Vape. Today I'm doing a review on the Kamry X6Plus. This is a mechanical mod using an 18650 battery. Comes in 18650 size and also 18350 size, a little mini. And it is a mechanical mod, but it is regulated. It's got like a kick inside there. Show you what we got in the box. This is the mod, and it comes with its own tank. As you can see, I've been vaping on it. It's full of juice. Get to that in a minute. Designed in the USA, manufactured in China, Shenzhen. Okay, it was inspected. You got a warranty card, 90-day warranty, and it tells you the process there. This is the instruction manual. So there you go, your instructions. All in Chinese. No, I'm just joking. It's translated in English later on, but if you do happen to speak Mandarin, there you go. Kamry Tech is a sister company to SIMAYU, S-M-Y. So this is the X6 Plus atomizer. They supplied me with both of these, the 18650 and the 18350, for review. All right. Output wattage, 21 watts to 35 watt voltage range, 3.3 to 4.2. All right, this is perfect for the tank that they supply it with. I do have it powering a 0.5 ohm build on a Mutation, and it vapes it just fine. And okay, it is regulated. It does have some protection as well. Short circuit protection, voltage testing. If the volts are lower on your batteries, then it would require to power this thing. It just it blinks 10 times, twinkles, and then it won't fire. And then there's some type of short circuit protection in there. Here's what the device looks like. No screen. Don't expect anything like that. This is very affordable. I believe it's under $35, maybe $30 retail for the mod and the tank. I have to double check on that, but here's your 510 connection. And here's what's interesting. And those slots are for battery venting, because there is a battery in here, an 18650, which you can charge internally. Comes with a charging cable. So I have a nice Samsung battery in here. But look at this. This reminds me of when you used to buy a separate kick. I believe it was Evolve first started doing a kick for mech mods, so there is regulation in there of some sort. And this is the power button right there. Now these are prototypes. They are not in mass production on this, so I'm going to point out my critiques. The powder coat paint finish is chipping very easily. I didn't bang or drop this. That just chipped off from screwing on the tank. And also the threading on this is not buttery smooth. This is kind of rough, this threading. I really don't like how rough it is, how I have to really crank it down. So put it on a polisher after the CNC milling. Yeah, shouldn't have to, and it doesn't close all the way. It is not cross-threaded. It's threaded correctly. This threading is, it's kind of janky, guys. So I'm not thrilled about the threading on this bottom cap for the fire. Well, it's not the fire button. I'm not thrilled about this. It's on there correctly. It's just the threading's rough, and I have to crank it way too hard to get that battery in. And I'm also worried about that chip at the top. I don't want to clamp this on too tight. So now let's talk about the tank. And this tank came loaded with machining oil. It was like puddled up in here. It's a little too much. I realize it's a prototype, but in production, you definitely you don't need that much machining oil on the inside of the tank. I did wash it thoroughly. It had some burrs. There's one right there. I'm going to try and get a close-up. I actually went over this with a dental pick to pick off these metal, but there's one on the inside of the tank that I missed. Do you see that right there? I want to show you. This is a pet peeve of mine. Right here, that's not an air bubble, that is a burr, a metal turning. See that? And it's on the inside there. So that's not good. That's not good. These parts need to be polished a little bit before they're assembled. Okay, so just so you're aware of that and you know, consumers are not going to want to see, when they buy a product, they're not going to want to see a burr and metal turnings inside the tank like that. And you know, I'll vape on it, but I'm going to open this back up and clean that off. And I went over this pretty thoroughly and found a lot of burrs like that, a lot of metal turnings like that. So you definitely don't want to have that in your finished product. Okay. The tank screws on the top of the mod. 510 connection. That was smooth. That I had no problem with. Okay, there's an airflow. This is nice. It comes with a rubber ring with a hole in it, so you can specifically grab this metal airflow ring, and that turns. And that's airflow control right there. See if I can get this to focus better. There it is. So here's airflow control. Right there, through those two slots. What it does on one side, it does on the other. And then I do like this rubber band for two reasons. One, it allows me to grip that, just that ring. And two, if the mod should fall, that band keeps the glass from hitting the surface if it should fall. So, slight protection. Now, this package did not come with any spare coils. It did not come with any spare glass sleeves. It's just the tank and the mod. The drip tip is powder coated on the outside, not on the inside. That's fine. I actually don't like the way there's even a little bit of paint on the inside of that chimney, on the inside. I prefer that not to be in there, just because that's part of the surface area where my vape is going to be traveling across. And I don't know what this paint is made from. Drip tip is nice, fits in there snugly, 2 O-rings, very well done. That's Delrin. Doesn't get hot. But then again, this is not a very hot vaping mod. And then you have a look down there. I'm going to show you the coil on the other one when I open it up right out of the box. Okay, so there's the mod, there's the tank. This is, I believe, a 0.5 coil. Let's take a look. 0.5 ohm coil. So yeah, the output wattage range is 21 watts to 35 watts. So anything you put on here, even if, and you don't only have to use this tank, you can use an RDA, you can use other tanks, but just don't expect more output range than what this tank can deliver. So to turn it on, 5 clicks, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then that will sparkle to show that it's on. And now let's take a look at the other one. Right out of the box, I'll show you what I'm talking about. This is not in production right now for the general market. This is just really the new released prototype. There is room for change. There is time for improvement. So I appreciate being part of this process right now. This is a first look. And here we have the same information, the same warranty card. And here's how the tank came and the mod came. They were in this plastic. This one I got in black. The coil is installed inside already. We'll take a look at that in a moment. And here's the little tiny cutie. It's really adorable. It's so tiny. I don't own any 18350 batteries right now. Oh, sorry about that. So there's a little bit of machining oil on this, which is fine. It just came off the assembly line. Clean that up a little bit. But it was slick. It was a little bit slippery. And this sticker says pass, OC4. Somebody inspected that. This is the bottom negative contact pin. There are your vent holes, vent slots. And this is, you can see that chip at the top there. I'm not going to power this up. I can't power it up. Don't have a battery for that. There is no mod in my collection that uses an 18350. My friend Jordan here has just offered the use of an 18350 battery. Thank you. Okay, so this is the inside of the tank. I do like these filling holes. There's 4 of them, obviously, you can count. They're decent sized. I could fit the end of a drip tip in there. Ah, thanks, bro. Appreciate that. Look what I have just been given on loan. EFES, too. Okay. Oh. Air Finesse. Thank you very much, Jordan. So there's the inside of the tank. And the capacity on this tank is, it's actually pretty decent capacity because the coil is small. Does not take up a lot of volume in the tank. It's the same tank as the other one, by the way. The tank volume size is a complete mystery because they don't say how much fits in here. So your guess is as good as mine. If I had to guess, I would say 4 milliliters. That's important. That might be something you want to add, unless I'm an idiot and I missed it, but I'm not seeing it here. Okay, so I like the black. I like the white. This is the coil. I'm going to point a couple of things out. When I first opened the other one, now why is this there's the coil, it's off center. Is that intentional or is that an accident? That is very odd. Do you see that? It's off center. Why? Another thing, this mesh, there's a mesh screen over here. It was actually touching. So it looks like there's a parallel coil here. That mesh is just stuck on top. That might be a problem if it's stainless steel wire mesh, and if that is touching the actual top, those 2 top wires there, that could be a problem. That could short out the whole RDA. So I think this needs to be rethought. Maybe have that cotton come up a little bit higher, have those wires tuck into the cotton so that this wire mesh, and all I did was I pulled it up a little bit. Just so that it wasn't sitting directly on top of those wires. Okay, other than that, this coil has an O-ring. Don't lose that. That does come off. This did not come with replacement O-rings, so if you lose that, you're out of luck. All right, nice. This is a low wattage device. This is not, you're not cloud chasing with this. This is really meant to, here's another O-ring here. And that one's snugly tucked into a little rut for itself. Okay, so there's the base of the RDA. This is how the coil screws in. It's very similar to a lot of other sub-ohm tanks. It is an O-ring at the bottom here, which is nice. It's gonna seal the tank. I haven't had any leaking issues whatsoever. But now let's look inside here. This one seems to be cleaner than the white one. This one Do I see any metal turnings? I don't. Actually, this one was cleaned up a bit. And this one doesn't have, it figures the box I opened was the one with all the puddled up, beaded up machine oil. I would still wash this thoroughly. I use a very mild organic cleaner, degreaser on new RDAs. You can see it's still, it's a little bit rough. There are metal turnings. They're small shavings. You see this is rough here. These little bits of metal. Not cool. Don't want to see that on a new product. Look, you see there? There's one. There. See, you don't want to be vaping this and inhale that metal turning. So clean this. I almost want to take fine grit sandpaper to that edge there, but that's not something the average person would know to look for. That's not something that the average vapor would be able to deal with. And there you see on the inside is a bead of, that's not moisture, that's machine oil. See if we can get this in focus, would be great. There it is. That's beaded up machine oil. Okay guys, so I'm just showing you, like, these are issues you have with your tank. Don't supply a product on the market that has metal turnings like that. By the time this hits production and this hits the general market for retail sale, I will expect that will be fixed. You will have a lot of complaints if you have not fixed that. All right. But other than that, nice shape, nice design, very simple, very basic. Sweet, really sweet. This airflow control is smooth. That's nice and smooth. Okay, and where did it go? I lost it already. This is really nice. As far as the size and the shape of it, the aesthetics of it, this reminds me of it. If I were to say this is a competitor to the Joyetech Ego 1, the difference here is you have an 18650 battery where the Ego 1 is an internally charged. Now I'll show you something else interesting. This came with a charging cable. Back out. So for the beginner vapor who buys this as a starter, they've got a good quality tank. They've got an 18350 mech mod with a chip and some protection, regulated device, internal charging cable. This, I'm going to imagine, connects Ego style to the 510 connection. And so they don't need to own a charger. They could have one battery or two batteries and just charge it that way. I'm not a fan of internal charging, but it's nice to know it's there. Okay. So for $30, $35 retail, this product trumps, price-wise anyway, it does trump the Joyetech Ego 1 as far as price goes, similar size. Look at how tiny that is. I'll give you size comparisons. It's my Able mod. Tank and mod, shorter than that. Another size comparison. Another size comparison. Look how, see the average beginner vapor just looking for a starter kit. This IPv4S will be big and intimidating compared to something like this. Okay, let me come up top. I'll vape on it. I'll show you, talk to you about my thoughts on it from a vaping experience. Okay, so here's how she vapes after you turn it on. 5 clicks turns it on. Compared to the first device I used to quit smoking, which was Kamry EVOD, this thing rocks. Retail, this costs less than the Kamry EVOD. Cost me back in October of last year, almost a year ago. I love this. If I had been offered this as a starter kit, I would have been very satisfied. This is better than what I had available back then. I started on a Kamry Vod. I went to a Inikin MVP 2.0 with a Nautilus Mini. Doesn't hold a candle to this. You're not cloud chasing with this, but you get a decent amount of vapor, a very nice vape, good flavor. Another thing I'm going to mention. When I first got this out of the box, the coil was half saturated with machining oil. And I am letting you know that that is something important you do need to fix. I would think after the milling and machining and assembly and the paint and everything, you need to do something to brush up those threads. You need to definitely polish this tank, get rid of all those burrs and metal turnings, and also don't contact the coil with machine grease, because that machining oil, it absorbs right into the cotton, and the first good, I don't know, 20, 30 pulls on this tasted like machining oil, and I can handle that because I'm used to it in the vaping industry, but it's not appealing, especially to a new vapor who this product is geared towards. Now I want to show you the size. I'm not going to, oh, oops. Hey, look, it's durable. It just fell on the metal countertop. I'm going to show you the size of this setup on this little cutie one, the 18350 sized. Sorry, my friends. Using an 18350 battery. And again, you don't need to charge this externally. You don't have to have a charger. It's probably the next step that somebody would want to go, but you know, selling this, picking this up at the shop for 40 bucks with a battery, 50 bucks with juice, there you go. Very nice mech mod. Okay, there we go. And a black one does have a red button. I kind of like that. And the white one has the black button. Look at these two side by side. I suspect these batteries are not charged. Oh well, we tried. Oops. See if we can't get this. Oh, Butterfingers today. It's not good. Look at that little cutie. That is a decent vape off of a little tiny cute device like that for the price. Okay, so we know some of the flaws. They're not flaws. They're easily corrected. They're just, and it's possibly even just because this is literally the first run off the prototype assembly line. All right, I like it. I like it. I'm going to show you one more thing real quick. I have a regular drip atomizer, an RDA, built, nothing fancy. This is a 2, 4, 6, 8 wrap, I believe, dual coil, 0.5 ohm resistance. Fires it. All right, it's a little slow on the ramp up, but compared to, for example, but you're talking serious mech mod, serious low sub ohm, and this setup right here is also $320. This, much less. So, does it vape well? Vapes very well. First time dripper. So what's nice is this mod, if somebody wants a little bit of change, a little bit of variety from the tank, they want to get into dripping, easily can power an RDA that's not built too aggressively. That is really a nice vaping experience. It fills a niche. It fills a niche. Somewhere between the Ego 1 and, say, the iStick 30 or 50 watt. Yeah, I like it a lot. Very cute. Very affordable. I mean, we looked it up online. I think we saw it for like 30, 35 bucks, something like that, at a retail shop. If I owned a shop, if I worked at a shop and somebody came in and they were a smoker and they wanted to get started, I would offer them this. I absolutely would. Assuming those little minor nuisance things are corrected, I would not offer somebody this exact one because I wouldn't want them getting a metal turning in their vape. They might go right back to cigarettes for the next 20 years. Fantastic. And again, nice, reliable little tank here. Easy to fill, easy to use, easy to understand. At the same time, the reliability of an 18650 battery or an 18350 battery with some regulation. By the way, I am sitting at Island Vapor in, where is this? Mount Sinai, New York. That's a nice vape. Again, it's not, you know, it's not a huge high-powered device and tank like this, but that's not the point. The point is, look how small and cute this is. Look how affordable this is. This is a stepping stone from smoking to vaping. This is not a stepping stone from smoking to vaping. This is going into that range of terrifying for a new vapor. Somebody who smokes, they can look at this little cutie and say, oh, look how cute. They have a little more control over their vape. They have a battery they bought. All right, it's nice. And I've also taken the liberty of putting a RDA build on here. This is a 0.5 sub-ohm RDA build. Mutation X version 4, built at about a 0.5 ohm. Vapes nicely. It's not a cloud chucking machine, but compared to devices that I started on, this is, either one of these would be more than adequate for a vapor just getting into it. Absolutely. Very nice. Nicely done. Thank you very much for sending these to me for review. I will most likely be doing a giveaway for these.